Hello there, it's George the Fragrance Apprentice. A complimented video, George? Is that what we're doing today? Yes, that's what we're doing today. There's various different important reasons why we're doing this video today, but the number one being is that I'm head-to-head with subscribers with Dan, Mr. Smelly 1997. No, he's definitely not that young. Mr. Smelly 1977, and he claims to be the leader of the FRAGCOM now, but is he? Because I'm just about to overtake him in subscribers, and then, you know, by that logic, I'll become the new leader of FRAGCOM, because that's how that works. But yes, this video will definitely nudge me in front of Dan, and will finally put him in his place, and it will be sort of like the downfall of the Somalian Empire. Or actually, more aptly, it'll be like the downfall of the Smellolian Empire. I'll just get on with the video now. But yes, a most complimented video, but I actually have got something a little bit different. I'm not going to just tell you the fragrances, I'm going to tell you why they get compliments, or sort of the theory behind why they should get compliments. Going all the way from something where it's quite obvious why it could, to something a little bit more complicated. So we're going to be going through a few of the disciplines of perfumery and how a perfumer thinks, and how fragrances are designed to get compliments. Especially in colder weather, because in colder weather the rules are sort of broken. Most perfumiers and most companies think to themselves, okay, clean, fresh, citrus, that will get compliments, that will get attention, that will be people-pleasing. But in the autumn and the winter, you have to find new rules, you have to find new ways of getting attention, getting compliments. So hopefully this will be a little bit educational as well. Honourable mention, I presume that you've heard of this. NUIT, Yves Saint Laurent. Well, this is a perfect example of a cold weather fragrance that can get compliments. And the reason being is that it's got some sweetness, and sweetness is usually the way forward, but it's also got some cleanliness. Sweet and cleanly, if you can put those two elements together in a fragrance, in a cold weather fragrance, then that can work. This has been made by a few reformulations, but the cardamom, which is a rare note in design and perfumery, it's actually usually only used in niche perfumery to great effect, but with designer, this was of course cardamom and cocoa, chocolate, bit of vanilla, and what happens is that this gives it a kind of shower gel kind of smell, but with some sweetened cardamom, and that makes it work, and that will get you compliments, that will get you attention. It's designed really well, it was perfumed superbly back in the day, and of course this will always get you some nice attention. So now we move on to this is Ferragamo's UOMO. So this is great. This is a great example of a fragrance that is trying to use something familiar to lots of people that will then make it so that when they smell you, they will enjoy that familiar smell. And of course with this, it's chocolate and cream, and a tiny, tiny bit of coffee. People have often said that this is the tiramisu of fragrance. Don't know about that. But I don't completely get that. But the really subtle cocoa powder in here it's designed so that people will smell this and they'll smell chocolate with some fragrant sandalwood as well. It's designed so that people will smell chocolate, and people like chocolate, people get a lot of pleasure from chocolate, and therefore you will smell good by that association. It's also still a little bit designery, so it has got a little bit of that soapy quality underneath. And so again, we're still in the same realm of something that is sweet, but is something that is also cleanly. And that really works. It's a great, great way of making a fragrance that is cold weather based, compliment getting. But I think that the biggest prime example of using this combination of a soapy, clean element and a genuine sort of almost going to the point of syrupy sweetness that will get you good positive feedback, that will give you compliments. My favourite example of that is this right now. This is Strong With You Intensely. I've spoken a lot about this recently. Intensely. Yeah. And the same sort of theory applies. Now this takes it up a notch. This is really quite sweet, and this has got a sort of maple syrup-like texture with it, and there's caramel in here, there's toffee. Again, using that same sort of mindset of these are things that people recognize, these are things that people really like and really enjoy, but underneath there is also like this freshness. It's actually really clever how it's done. Yeah, there is a fresh element to it, and it's handled really well. The balancing act between a real kind of syrupy caramel toffee and a really heady soapy clean element is really, really on the money. It's probably one of the things that has technically really impressed me. And so you're covering both bases in an olfactory sense with people. So I have actually had personally compliments with this. I've had a few people say that it smells nice, and I can give you a couple anecdotes and all that kind of stuff, but I am seriously trying to actually just tell you why, objectively speaking, this will get you attention, this will get you good attention. But then you have to go all the way over to the element of the sweetness or the chocolate, and you have to kind of leave the cleanliness behind. And there is a fragrance that does that, and it does it really, really well, and it still gets good attention, and that is this. This is Spice Bomb Extreme by VIKTOR and ROLF. Apparently this has been discontinued. That's what I've heard. I'd love to do like one of those videos where I'd call people up, but I don't. I learnt my lesson with that. I don't trust anybody now that I speak to on the phone. They don't know, unfortunately. But I have heard a lot of people saying this is discontinued. I have actually bought a backup bottle, and I might also buy another bottle for like a giveaway, so that I can give back to you with this, because I know this is very popular. So this has got cinnamon, this has got ginger. This is essentially a gingerbread house. But it still works. It still can get good attention. It can still get compliments, but now you're really, really edging on the hope that people will smell the ginger, they'll smell the gingerbread house, they'll smell the spices, and they will really, really enjoy that because it's a familiar kind of scent, it's a familiar smell. This has not got the cleanliness in it. Once you put this on, it's on your skin, it's on your clothes, and it lasts for hours and hours and hours. So it's a bit of a risk. It's a bit of a bomb, and it, you know, if you really want to be safer, go for Intensely, because this tries to kind of walk the line. This doesn't walk the line as much, but it's still fantastic, still great, and I love it. This is actually my scent of the day today. Really, really, really enjoying it, and it's a spicy, heady fragrance with that ginger, with the cinnamon, and with the sweet vanilla. But this is more ginger and cinnamon than anything else. I did a review on it. You can watch it if you want to see my full thoughts on it. Now that we're halfway through the video, I'd like to give a special thanks to everybody who has contributed on PayPal in the past few weeks. That's Marcus Schubert, Casey Lednam, Manuel Rigobello, Wyatt Brown, Finley Logan, and yes, I had a non-alcoholic pint, thank you very much. Jason Kroner, Satbir Singh, and S2, I'm not even going to try and pronounce your last name because I will murder it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I will have the expensive whiskey when I can drink again. Thank you so much for donating to the PayPal. It's all going towards further videos. Well, Finley, he actually went to a non-alcoholic pint, but he specifically asked for that. And Etsu, I don't know, it's going to take a while for me to have that whiskey, so I'm just going to put it towards the Aventus video and to future on-location videos like the crazy ones that I do. If you want to contribute to this channel and get a shout out, then you can on PayPal with the email address info@thefragranceapprentice.co.uk. I really, really appreciate it. I don't do Patreon or anything like that. It's all just donation, and it's all your choice. That's how I'd like it to be. Anyway, thank you so much, and let's get on with the rest of the list. In that same realm of things that are familiar to people, there's a little genre of fragrance that peaked for a little while. It was a combination of 3 notes, and it peaked, and it did quite well, and now it's sort of gone off course, and fragrances like this with this DNA and this note combination is not made anymore as much. But for a period in the mid-2000s, this DNA was not everywhere. It was still unique, but it was consistent. This is Rochas Man. Lavender, coffee, vanilla. One of the biggest potentials in fragrance DNA that I'd ever smelt. And I love that combination of coffee, lavender, and vanilla. And you saw it quite a lot in fragrances like New Harlem, Michael Jordan Legend, even recently Coffee Break with Maison Margiela's Replica. This is the poster boy, I suppose, and what a poster this is for that DNA. And it's really, really pleasant, and you're using coffee, but you're also using lavender to balance it all out, and these are things that are familiar and enjoyable. And this has gotten me compliments. In fact, I sold a bottle of this. I have a friend called James. He smelt this on me. He bought a bottle next day. Really, really good compliment getter for that reason. But I think that people, or the fragrance industry, doesn't have too much faith in that combination of 3 notes as much I think it was an experiment. I loved the experiment, but you don't see fragrances like this being made anymore. Let's go all the way to the soap now. But it's still wintertime. It's still autumn, winter, so you can't wear any Prada, you can't wear any intensely kind of soap fragrances. But one of the things that you can do is you can take a really, really soapy, clean element and accord, and you can mix it with other things. And one of the things that you can mix it with is something that's quite dark and dirty, and that's leather. And there you get ombre leather. So ombre leather has a real windy, kind of whooshy, fresh cleanliness to it, but it is bolstered by a very, very atypical Tom Ford leather accord, which is kind of like a car seat, weathered car seat kind of fragrance. So there's little to no sweetness in here, little to none. But it's very masculine, it's very, very confident, it's very striking. Have I had compliments? Yes. Lots and lots of attention. And because it has that cleanliness that people enjoy and works in the model of perfumery, but that confident leather is very masculine, it's very mature, it's very reverent, it's got all of those grabbing elements that will grab somebody and pull them in. Also, because it's quite subtle in one respect, you put this on your skin and it combines with your skin, and this is a very, very sexy fragrance and very, very alluring fragrance, which will get you compliments. But if we go all the way to the soap, you get this. Bleu de Chanel Parfum. This is very soapy, but it has, I always thought this had incense in it, but that's not the case. It's actually the original Bleu de Chanel that has incense, but it has soap and a bit of woodiness and a few florals and a little bit of fruit as well. This is one of the greatest cleanly, clean, just out of the shower fragrances that you can get in the autumn and the winter time. Probably my favorite of all time for if you want to go for that blue genre that has been everywhere in fragrance, but you want something for the winter, this will hold its own in that. So what if we go all the way to the sweetness, like absolute full-on sweetness, right? That's tough, and it took me a bit of time to come up with something that I would actually enjoy recommending. But this is so sweet and heavy and loud and over the top, and it's just an absolute pleasure to wear. It's so good to wear, and will this get you compliments? Yes, it most certainly will. The only problem is it's a little bit bloody pricey. It's Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Oud Satin Mood. Now, of course, there are many other examples of truly genuine, purebred, over-the-top sweet fragrances that are loud, but this one is my favorite, and this is the one that I've got most attention from. How could you not? Very, very sexy. It's vanilla with oud, and oud is usually very bitter, but you get rid of that and you just have the wood shavings of the oud. You slam that together with a very, very bright and succulent vanilla, and this is just really, really sexy stuff. So those are fragrances that will get you compliments in the autumn and winter, but please remember the rule. This is the rule when it comes to creating a fragrance or looking or searching for a fragrance that will get you good attention and get you compliments. You want something that's sweet, but not too overbearing. Something that has vanilla, something that has maybe hazelnut or chocolate or toffee or whatever. But if you can pair that with something that has a freshness, something that has a cleanliness, then you're attacking both sort of sets of the spectrum when it comes to things that perfumiers know will get you attention and get you fragrances. If I'm honest, out of this list, the one that sort of suits that discipline to a T and suits that brief to a T is this. It's EMPORIO Armani Strong Will With You Intensely. Not the Absolutely version that goes too sweet, gets rid of the cleanliness and isn't as fun and isn't as pleasant. So there you go. Anyway, hope that you enjoyed this video. I've already mentioned the PayPal, so if you want to contribute to that, then be my guest. But if you just want to leave a like and subscribe and comment, that's absolutely fine. Anyway, I'm the Fragrance Praise, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.